number one. But as far as the transformer, like I've been hearing a lot of presentation, and unfortunately, a lot of people who make a presentation, they cannot really compare like future of the just the PR and the public relationship in a publicly trading company, because it's totally different. Most of these people who make the presentation, they would have a very hard time being in a different industry, because what's the issue in a public relation and stock market? The one news can cost you everything, and it's like being in politics. If you're good politicians, you always have a nice team. You know, where they schmooze around your news, bad news, good news. Like when Obama, before he becomes the president, there was a lot of black spots in his history. So the guys and his team, they really schmooze around. You know, there was a question if he's a legal citizen of the United States. So this is what the team does. This is a little different, you know, when you have some product and you try to, let's say, brand it or something else. You know, I have my own brand, so I understand about the branding, but it's a little different than being a PR in the public industry. For example, look at this. The company has a conference call. The price of the stock, $120. That's the presentation I did today. And the news are coming out that the CEO of the company got arrested because the company amplified the news in a little different way. It means what they did. In the pure language, it was a total fraud, and they just bullshit everyone. Internal Revenue Service, Department of Taxation, and everyone else. The stock dropped from $120 to $20. We're talking about losing in a value of about 85%. In the dollar signs, $1.5 billion. One news, one day, in 20 minutes. So the people should understand one thing. In our industry, it's a little different. Even small news can cost the stocks hundreds of millions of dollars. When the CEO of the Apple, you know, Steve Jobs, yeah, when he got sick first time, it was in 2005, and that's the problem with the PR industry. The information leaked very fast. In any case, and then what I don't like it, that's most of the time the information leaked from the friends. Oh, you know, we heard that he's sick. Or my wife talked to his wife, and we figured out he's sick. The stock dropped like in 15 to 20% because the people, how everybody react to the news. First, it's like quick, and only then you start to think. It's like, you know, that tells you, well, you know, your wife cheated on you or your husband cheated on you, and your first immediate reaction is, bam, I have to kill someone, you know, I don't live anymore, and only then you come home, and it's like a news, you know, she moves around a little slow, and you become totally different. So as far as the publicly trading companies, it's totally different than just a regular PR industry. It's much easier to represent the brand and say, look, it's a very nice brand. You can go outside and say, we produce yogurt, and our strawberry yogurt is the best in the country. Try. That's what it's honestly, the internet just helps out a lot. But if you take 10 years, 15 years ago, when it was no internet, it was all regular way. All the books, I have 50, 60 different books about the PR industry in my office. People read, but it's all common ways. It's nothing special. But internet, like Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and everything else, it moves not a big step. It's like humongous step towards help the industry. But I think personally, it's no. It becomes, of course, it becomes easier to communicate. But I tell you the truth. For me, of course, I don't like this way of the communication.
Why?
That's the problem, because I don't know, maybe I'm an old-fashioned guy. I don't like the emails. I don't like SMS, instant messages. I don't like it. I'd rather pick up the phone. But you can do that. You can come to the room, and there's 100 people, and you ask everyone, when was the last time you call your friend, and you spend 15 minutes with him on the phone. And I pretty much guarantee you, it would be 15% at the most. Why? Because people, you know, they don't want to do that. It's much easier. You come on Facebook, you post a picture, you post the comment, oh, I was in Davos. Why didn't you call? You know, I call my friends today, I call my workers, I call my partners, I call and said, guys, I had a great time, you know, I right away pointed nice speeches, so I like it the most. That's a common world. But unfortunately, the biggest problem the Facebooks and everything else, it's a huge creation of the problem. You didn't hear the presentation today, but I showed today that in the United States yesterday, it was a fresh news, 9 hours old. You probably didn't even heard it. 2 Americans got killed because the woman defriended someone from a Facebook, and they killed the family. And it's official news. I posted in a room today. It's a fresh news. I wake up in the morning. It's the first thing I do. Usually, it's of course I read the internet. You don't have a newspaper at 5 o'clock. A lot of suicides because somebody did not put like on the Facebook. Seriously, I mean, I started to read this. I don't want my son to go into it. You know, I'd rather give it to him. I'd rather buy a car at the age of 11 years old. I'd rather get him on the Facebook or anything. It's a scary stuff where the people like to communicate. Believe me, you go on the internet, of course, you put the last name Gerchik, you get plenty of the information. There's a ways how to get. I have email, but then, like I have people today who came over to me and they like to deal with me in the future. I said, let's sit down. I said, listen, it's not a normal way. Let's go the old-fashioned way. We'll go to Moscow. We'll have a meeting. We sit down for an hour and a half, and we talk. That's how you figure out the issue, not like this, you know, virtual dates. Well, you know, I cannot do it. I send the SMS. No, you pick up the phone, and you do. I don't know, maybe I'm an old-fashioned guy. I talk to my friends. I don't write them emails. I don't tweet with them. I don't exchange the pictures on the Facebook. I just call them. And I meet with them, you know. I rather spend my life of speaking with them. So what I'm saying, as far as, I mean, we went a little of the wrong way of the conversation, but as far as the public relations in a publicly traded company, extremely sensitive issue, extremely. The guys who work in the public relation of the publicly traded company, they're best of the best, and I know a lot of them. You know, my office used to be right next to the New York Stock Exchange, and I know how they interpret the news, how they make a conference call, and you would be surprised. Those guys are sitting and listen the way CEO talks. Don't forget that there's each quarter there's a news. The company come out with the quarter results, and the CEO will represent the news. Once, God forbid, the CEO does not represent the news, and they're saying, oh, the CEO got sick, and we're going to have a general manager. That's it. They don't understand this news. So CEO has to come and has to say always normal way. One key goes up and down as far as the voice, they'll catch it right away. Those guys are sitting and listen to every single word. Because you know why? Because they make a presentation for the customer, and the customer is going to say, why didn't you figure it out what was wrong with the company? And I broke another example today. 2 days ago, Groupon came out with the earnings, quarter earnings. The stock got dropped 20%. So when everybody started to understand what was the problem, yes, they made less money. Yes, they had a one-time charge from IRS, from taxation. But everybody knows it's a one-time. One-time usually don't kill, you know. But what kills it, that's analysts, when they was listening to the conference call, they say the company tried to hide something. They don't even know they did hide it. They did not hide anything. But the major analyst for the Groupon, he said they did not open all information about the stock got destroyed. That's how sensitive is the news are. What it is, you first react fast, you sell or buy. Because, you know, in our industry, the traders, they don't understand the word good news. I mean, they don't understand maybe, I don't know. They understand bad news or good news. Bad news, you sell the stock. Good news, you buy the stock. As of right now, or a previous of the campaign? The
previous, I mean, any case that comes to your mind.
The issue is, the only issue that Obama won the last race before, it was because there was no other people to win. You understand? It's like you were racing in the cars, and you were the only one racer there. That was exactly the same before. The other contender was over 70 years old, who was like purely, and everybody knows that if he's going to be a president, McCain, then it's going to be a pure war. I mean, the guy was a war-oriented, and he's going to kill all the war. So you have two guys. One is completely out. Who you left? For sure. And right now he's trying to. The problem is with the. I don't like too much talk about the politics, but I'll say. I think the problem is he just inherited the bad time. You know, when the Clinton inherited the good time, let's say George Bush inherited the good time. When the Reagan came, it was a bad time, but then becomes a good time. The economy has a cycles, and trust me, no presidents, no, they cannot do anything. The economics go by the cycles. Look at the Chinese. They're one of the best countries to control the economics inside the country, one of the best. And but the one thing I don't like it, 70% of what they say is a lie. Because lately, 70-80% of the companies which listed on New York Stock Exchange got delisted because of the fraud, one after another. You can't really check what they're doing there. You understand? That's the biggest problem. And then you have a company who is an editor for that, and they lie too. So in our industry, people don't understand lie or no lie. They understand good news or bad news. Good news, you press the green button, it's buy, and the red news, you press the red. We're almost there. And that's the biggest problem. The issue is the internet. Another point, it's excellent because you can communicate fast. You know, you came out with a good earnings all over the world. Everybody knows. Everybody buy the stock. But there's a lot of bad information which the people are injecting into the internet. It was, I'll tell you, there was a major scam about 7 years ago in the United States, which caused the investors over $400 million. So what used to happen? You had the answering machine, and all of a sudden you get a phone call. Usually, if you would pick up the phone, they would never leave the message. They would only leave the message if you are not picking up the phone. And the message was next to the following: "Hello, Betty, this is your friend Angela, and you remember I used to date the stockbroker, and you remember like 7 months ago he gave me some stock recommendations, some stock tips, and the stock went from 10 cents to $3. I made it $300,000. So just remember the name of the stock, blah 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 blah." They used to call on purpose to all different people and spread this news. And the people thought that it was a wrong phone call, but they go on the internet, they check, they see the stock is running, they start to buy. Because people over $400 million. And with the internet right now these days, they do absolutely the same. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that wheel is so big and it's so fast, and it's running so heavy that you cannot stop. Whatever I say, it wouldn't do anything. And of course, because the machine is getting bigger. It's a physics. It's a Newton law. You take a multiplication of the weight, multiply by the speed. And it's nothing. Speed by weight. You cannot do anything. And whatever I say, it wouldn't hurt or it wouldn't help. It's just expression of my personal opinion. But I see what it brings to it, But remember one thing, it's always a good part and a bad part. It never either bad or good. It's always like, so it does the good part, and on the other hand, it does the bad part. I mean, I go in the Moscow subway sometime, and there's a signs, there's a website on the Klasniki, and there's a face of the young kid of like 10, 11 years old, and it says, "I'm looking for the friend." And there's just so many kids are disappearing, because when you're 12, 13 years old, usually the parents is the worst part for you, because they pushing you to study, take away the computer. You understand? 5 days a week you have to study, you have to go to school. So you don't like your parents, and everyone like this. 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. Only after the age of 16, the kids start to understand. That's when they're pushing you in a school, and they want something out of you. So I remember my father. My father used to push me to study 4 or 5 hours a day. I was 10 years old. Everybody, all the kids in the street, and I'm doing math. So the issue is, at that age is a very sensitive age. And the internet, as soon as these kids get into internet, it's a problem. They're looking for some friend who say, "Oh, your parents are no good." That's what I'm saying. And there's a good part and a bad part. But news is a news. You have to deal with them. Good way, bad way. Protect and respect. Come to us next year.
Okay.
They took 6 people in 2006. They took one of the. That's what they said. You cannot consider yourself as the best. There's always somebody on the top of you. They just it was a movie about documentary series about the people who is one of the best in the financial industry. So as far as the day trading I was chosen as a top one. But it's a pure day trading. You cannot really compare myself as a Warren Buffett or like any other investors or George Soros. But as far as the day trading, I did very well. I'm in the popular. People start to recognize you. Sometimes we can be at the airport and the people come to me. I swear, I feel like a Nikolai Baskov. Like, exactly, like a movie star. But you should never forget where you're coming from. That's the main goal. No matter what you have and how much you have, just try to be yourself if you can.